What if I told you there's a way to rewire your brain to become 80% matter, almost unstoppable, using secrets most people will never know? And no, it's not some trendy biohack or expensive pill. It's something far more dangerous, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Think about the last time you felt stuck, like your mind was working against you. Maybe you couldn't focus, or stress shut you down completely. What if the problem wasn't you, but how you've been using your brain? These 10 mental shifts aren't just about thinking better. They're about becoming someone who doesn't just survive chaos, but controls it. Right now, your brain is probably running on autopilot. You react instead of respond. You get distracted by things that don't matter. And when pressure hits, logic goes out the window. Most people spend their entire lives like this, trapped in a loop of impulsive decisions and wasted energy. But there's a way out, and it starts with hacking the patterns most never question. The 2-second rule: control your reactions. Imagine this. Someone cuts you off in traffic. A coworker takes credit for your idea. Your partner says something that instantly makes your blood boil. In that exact moment before you react, there's a tiny, almost invisible gap. Just 2 seconds. That's all you get. Most people never even notice it. Their emotions take over like a storm, and before they know it, they've said something they regret, made a decision out of anger, or lost control. But what if you could stretch that 2 seconds? What if instead of being swept away, you could step back, just for a breath, and choose how to respond? This isn't about suppressing emotions. That's a mistake a lot of people make. They think control means pretending not to feel anything, bottling it all up until one day it explodes. No, this is about recognizing that emotions are signals, not command. Anger, frustration, even fear. They're there to tell you something, but they shouldn't be the ones driving. Here's how it works. The next time something triggers you, whether it's a rude comment, a sudden obstacle, or even your own inner critic, pause, not for long, just 2 seconds. In that space, do one thing: breathe. Not some deep, exaggerated inhale, just a normal breath, but with awareness. Feel the air coming in, going out. That's it. What happens in those 2 seconds is where the power lies. Your brain, which was about to go into autopilot, shouting, reacting, spiraling, suddenly has a moment of clarity. It's like stepping outside of yourself for just a second, watching the emotion rise, but not letting it take over. And in that space, you get to decide, is this worth my energy? Is this how I want to respond? Most people never do this. They let the first spark turn into a wildfire. But you're training yourself to catch the spark before it spreads. And the more you practice, the wider that 2-second window becomes. Eventually, it's not just 2 seconds. It's 5, 10, a full minute of clarity, where you're no longer a prisoner to your impulses. Think about the last time you lost your temper. What if instead of reacting immediately, you had just waited 2 seconds? How differently would things have gone? The truth is, most conflicts, most regrets, most bad decisions happen because we don't give ourselves that tiny pause. We let the emotion dictate the action. But when you insert that pause, something shifts. You're no longer just reacting, you're responding. And there's a world of difference between the two. This isn't just about avoiding fights or keeping your cool. It's about reclaiming power over your own mind. Because when you control your reactions, you control your life. People will try to provoke you, situations will test you. But if you master this one skill, none of it can shake you. You become the one who decides, not your emotions, not outside chaos. You start small. The next time you feel that rush of frustration, that quick flare of anger, don't act on it. Just pause. 2 seconds, one breath, then choose. That's where real strength begins. The empty room method. Mental clarity. Your mind is not a bottomless pit, it's a room. A physical, finite space. And just like any room, If you keep throwing things into it without ever cleaning, it becomes cluttered, chaotic, impossible to move. Most people live like this. Their minds packed with unfinished thoughts, unresolved emotions, distractions, worries, plans, regrets, all piling up until there's no space left to think clearly. This isn't about meditation, not in the way you've heard it before. This isn't about sitting cross-legged, forcing yourself to clear your mind, while 100 thoughts scream for attention. That doesn't work for most people. Instead, this is something simpler, more direct, almost mechanical. It's about taking the clutter, the mental junk, and physically removing it. Here's how you do it. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you dive into the day, take a single piece of paper. Write down one thing that's weighing on you. Not a to-do list, not a grand plan, just the one thought that when you wake up is already there, tugging at you. Maybe it's a problem you haven't solved. Maybe it's a conversation you're dreading. Maybe it's just a vague sense of unease you can't name. Whatever it is, put it on paper. One sentence, then look at it. Now, tear it up. Not metaphorically, literally. Rip the paper into pieces. Throw it away. What you're doing here isn't just symbolic. You're teaching your brain that not every thought deserves to take up space. Most of the things we carry around in our heads don't need to be there. They're not useful. They're not helping. They're just there, cluttering the room. And when the room is too full, you can't focus, you can't think straight, you can't make good decisions. This method works because it's physical. You're not just telling yourself to let it go, you're showing your brain what that looks like. The act of writing it down makes it real. The act of tearing it up makes it gone. And your mind, which holds on to things like a hoarder, starts to learn. Not everything needs to stay. Try it for a week. Every morning, one thought, one piece of paper, one act of destruction. You'll start to notice something strange. The more you do this, the lighter your mind feels. The room isn't as crowded. You can move through it without tripping over old worries. This isn't mindfulness. This is mental housekeeping. And when your mind is clear, everything else becomes easier. Focus sharpens. Decisions become clearer. Stress loses its grip because you're no longer carrying the weight of things that don't matter. Most people never clean their mental room. They just keep shoving more inside until the door won't even close. Don't be like them. Start small. One thought at a time, one piece of paper at a time. Empty the room, then see how much better you think. Reverse stress, pressure as fuel. You felt it before, that tightness in your chest, the quickening of your pulse, the way your hands might tremble slightly when you're about to step into something important. A big presentation, a difficult conversation, a moment where everything feels like it's on the line. The instinct is to call this feeling fear, to label it as something negative, something to push away, to suppress, to wish wasn't there. But what if you've been wrong about it this whole time? What if that sensation isn't your enemy, but one of the most powerful tools you have? Stress is not the problem. The problem is the story you tell yourself about stress. For years, maybe your entire life, you've been taught that stress is bad, that it's something to avoid, to medicate away, to escape from. But that's only half the truth. Stress is energy, raw, unfiltered energy, and like any energy, it can destroy, or it can propel you forward. The difference isn't in the stress itself. The difference is in what you do with it. Think about the last time you felt really stressed. Your body was preparing you for something. Your heart was pumping faster to send more blood to your muscles and brain. Your breathing quickened to take in more oxygen. Your senses sharpened. These are not the signs of weakness. These are the signs of a body getting ready to perform. The same physiological reactions that happen when you're afraid are the same ones that happen when you're excited. The only difference is the label you put on it. So here's the shift. The next time you feel that rush, before a challenge, before a moment where you need to be at your best, don't say I'm nervous. Say instead, I'm ready. It sounds too simple to work, but try it. When your heart starts pounding before a big meeting, don't fight it, lean into it. Say to yourself, this isn't fear, this is focus. When your hands feel unsteady before stepping on stage, don't wish it away, recognize it. This isn't panic, this is power. Your brain believes what you tell it. If you keep saying stress is bad, it will keep being bad. But if you start telling yourself that this energy is here to help you, something changes. The same sensations that once made you freeze, now make you sharp. The same rush that used to scatter your thoughts, now pulls them into clarity. This isn't about pretending stress doesn't exist, it's about reframing it. The greatest athletes, performers, warriors, they all feel it. The difference is, they don't see it as something working against them, they see it as fuel. So the next time you feel that pressure building, don't resist it. Don't try to calm yourself down, lean into it. Say it out loud if you have to. This is my body getting me ready to win, and then step forward. Because stress isn't the enemy is believing that it is. The 5-minute rule: kill procrastination. You sit down to work, and suddenly everything else seems more interesting. Your phone, the news, that thing you've been meaning to Google, the work is right there in front of you. But starting feels impossible. You tell yourself you'll do it later, when you're in the right mindset, when you feel motivated. But that moment never comes, and the longer you wait, the heavier the task feels. Here's the truth. You don't need motivation. You never did. Motivation is a myth, or at least it's not what you think it is. Motivation isn't some magical force that comes down and lifts you up, filling you with energy and focus. Real motivation, the kind that actually gets things done, doesn't come before action. It comes after. Think about it. When was the last time you felt like doing something hard before you actually did it? Never. You only ever feel motivated after you've started. Once you're in motion, once you've taken the first step, then the energy comes. But waiting for it to show up first is like waiting for a car to start without turning the key. So here's the rule. Just 5 minutes, that's it. Don't think about finishing the project. Don't think about how much you have to do. Just tell yourself, I'll do 5 minutes. That's all. 5 minutes is nothing. It's too small to fail. You can't psych yourself out of 5 minutes. And yet 9 times out of 10, once you start, you won't stop at 5. You'll keep going, because the hardest part isn't the work. It's starting the work. Your brain is wired to resist things that feel big, uncertain, or difficult. But it can't argue with 5 minutes. It's a trick, sure. But it's a trick that works. You're not lying to yourself. You're just making the first step so small that your resistance has nothing to push against. Try it right now. Whatever you've been putting off, writing that email, cleaning that room, starting that workout, set a timer, 5 minutes, go. And when the timer goes off, ask yourself, do I want to stop? Most of the time the answer will be no. Because action creates momentum, and momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. Stop waiting to feel ready. You never will. Start with 5 minutes. The rest will take care of itself. The mirror talk, self-accountability. There's a version of you that exists only in your mind. A version that's always a little better, a little more put together, a little more honest than the real you. That version doesn't make excuses. That version doesn't procrastinate. That version doesn't lie to itself. But the real you does. And the longer you go without confronting that gap, the wider it gets. Most people never do this. They float through life, telling themselves stories. I'll start tomorrow. I'm doing fine. It's not that bad. And never stop to question whether any of it is true. They live in a fog of half-truths. And over time, those little lies become the foundation of their entire life. Then one day they wake up and wonder why nothing has changed, why they're still stuck, why they feel like they're living someone else's life. There's a way to fix this, but it's uncomfortable. Stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eyes, really look and ask out loud, what's one lie I've been telling myself? Don't think, don't prepare, just ask and wait. The first thing that comes up, that sharp immediate thought you try to push away, that's the lie you've been feeding yourself. Maybe it's I don't have time, when you really mean I don't want to make time. Maybe it's I'm happy where I am, when you know you're settling. Maybe it's I'll deal with it later, when later never comes. Whatever it is, it will stay. That's how you know it's real. Most people never face these lies, because it's easier not to. It's easier to keep pretending, to keep distracting yourself, to keep blaming outside circumstances. But when you stand in front of that mirror and say it out loud, something shifts. You can't unhear it. You can't unsee it. That lie now has a shape, a weight, and once you know it's there, you can't ignore it anymore. Do this once a week. Same mirror, same question. No scripts, no filter, just raw honesty with the one person who's been with you through every decision, every failure, every rationalization. Yourself. At first, it will feel unnatural. You'll want to look away, to laugh it off, to deflect. But the more you do it, the clearer your mind becomes. The lies start to dissolve, the excuses lose their power, and slowly, you start making different choices. Not because someone told you to, but because you see the truth now. You can't hide from it. This isn't about self-punishment, it's about self-respect. The version of you in the mirror deserves the truth, and the real you, the one living your life every day, that version deserves a life built on honesty, not illusions. So try it, tonight, tomorrow morning, whenever you're ready. Stand there, look yourself in the eyes, and ask the question. Then listen. The answer will change everything. The noise filter, focus like a laser. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own, and yet you give it away like it's nothing. A notification pops up. You look, someone says your name. You turn, a thought drifts in. You follow it over and over. All day, your focus gets pulled in 100 directions, and by the end of it, you wonder why you got nothing done, why you feel drained, why your mind feels cluttered, even when you're doing nothing. Here's the problem. You've been treating your attention like it's infinite. It's not. Every time you switch focus, every time you let yourself get distracted, you're not just losing seconds, you're losing energy. Your brain wasn't built for this. It was built to focus on one thing at a time, deeply, completely. And when you don't let it do that, everything suffers. The solution isn't more willpower, it's a filter. Every distraction, every ping, every interruption, every stray thought is a request for your attention. Most people respond to every single one, like a servant answering every knock at the door. But you need to start asking a simple question. Does this deserve my energy? If the answer is no, you don't just ignore it, you physically turn away. See, your brain takes cues from your body. If you're looking at your phone while trying to work, your brain thinks both things are important. If you're half listening to someone while thinking about something else, your brain gets stuck in limbo. But when you physically turn away from the screen, toward the task, toward the person speaking, you send a signal. This is what matters now. Everything else can wait. Start small. Next time you're working and your phone buzzes, don't just mute it, turn it face down. Better yet, put it in another room. When someone interrupts you, don't just nod along. Stop, turn fully toward them, and decide if this is worth breaking focus. If it's not, say not right now, and turn back. This isn't about being rude. It's about being deliberate. Most of the things that grab your attention don't deserve it. They're not urgent, they're not important. They're just loud. And the more you train yourself to filter them out, the sharper your focus becomes. Imagine your mind is a vault. Not everything gets inside. Only the things you choose. The rest, they can knock all they want. You're not answering. Try it for one day, just one. Every time something tries to take your attention, pause. Ask, does this deserve my energy? If not, turn away. Literally. See how much more you get done. See how much clearer your mind feels. Your focus is yours. Start treating it that way. The failure replay. Failure sticks to you. It clings like a shadow, replaying in your mind long after it's over. Most people do one of two things with it. They either obsess, picking at the wound until it never heals, or they ignore it completely, pretending it never happened. Both are mistakes. One keeps you trapped in the past, the other guarantees you'll repeat it. There's a third way. When you fail, and you will, because everyone does, you get one replay, just one. Not to torture yourself with what went wrong, not to drown in regret, but to ask a single question: what would I do differently next time? Then you let it go. Here's why this works. Failure is information, raw, unfiltered data about what didn't work, but most people never extract the lesson, because they're too busy being emotional about it. They either make it personal, I'm stupid, or they dismiss it entirely. It doesn't matter. Neither helps you improve. So here's the method. The next time something goes wrong, a project falls apart, a conversation blows up, a plan backfires, take 5 minutes, just 5. Play it back in your head, like a film, but with one rule: no judgment. You're not the prosecutor. You're the scientist. You're not asking, why am I such an idiot? You're asking, what was the pivot point? Where did this go off track? Maybe you spoke too soon. Maybe you waited too long. Maybe you assumed something you shouldn't have. Whatever it is, name it. Then ask, if this situation comes up again, what will I do instead? That's it. That's the entire process. You don't need to dwell. You don't need to punish yourself. You just need to identify the adjustment. Then you file it away like code in a program. Next time X happens, do Y instead. Most people never do this. They either ruminate endlessly, or they move on without learning anything. Both are ways of wasting the failure. But when you replay it once, with purpose, you turn it into something useful. You turn it into experience. Try it. The next time something doesn't go your way, give yourself that one replay. Extract the lesson, then close the file. The failure has done its job. Now you're smarter. Now you're stronger. Now you're dangerous. The delayed yes. You've done it before. Said yes when you meant no. Agreed to something that drained you. Committed to a plan you already regretted as the words left your mouth. It happens because yes is easy. It's automatic. It's the path of least resistance. But every unnecessary yes is a theft. It steals time, energy, focus from the things that actually matter to you. There's a simple fix. 2 words. Let me think. When someone asks for your time, your money, your energy, anything that costs you, don't answer immediately. Even if you think you want to say yes, even if you're pretty sure, just say, let me think on it. Give yourself 10 minutes, an hour, a day, however long you need to separate the impulse from the decision. Here's what happens in that space. The pressure lifts, the people-pleasing reflex fades, and you get to ask yourself the only question that matters. Do I actually want to do this? Most yes decisions aren't decisions at all. They're reactions. You say yes because you're put on the spot, because you don't want to disappoint, because it's easier than saying no. But when you insert that pause, something shifts. You regain control. You start choosing rather than complying. This isn't about being selfish. It's about being intentional. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with you, you're saying no to something that does. That's the real cost of automatic agreement. Not just the time it takes, but the opportunities you miss because you're already overcommitted. Try it for a week. Next time someone asks you for something, your time, your attention, your resources, don't answer right away. Say you'll think about it. Then step away. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this really how I want to spend my energy? You'll be shocked how often the answer is no. Small pause, huge power. The difference between living your life and living someone else's is often just those few seconds between the ask and the answer. Take them, own them. Watch how much changes when you stop giving away your yes so cheaply. The identity shift. Become who you want. Words are spells. The ones you say out loud, the ones you repeat in your head, they shape reality. Most people don't realize this. They go through life describing themselves in ways that keep them stuck. I'm not good at this. I'm trying to change. I wish I could be like that. Every time you say these things, you're casting a spell. but it's the wrong one. Here's the truth. You don't become confident and then act like it. You act confident even when you are not. And then you become it. The brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what you repeat. Feed it doubt, and it will give you reasons to hesitate. Feed it certainty, and it will find ways to make that true. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about choosing which truths to amplify. Right now, there are two versions of you, the one you are and the one you could be. The bridge between them isn't time, it's language. Stop saying I'm trying to be disciplined and say I am disciplined. Stop saying I want to be fearless and say I am fearless. At first, it will feel like a lie. That's normal. The old version of you will resist, but the more you say it, the more your brain will look for evidence to make it true. Think of it like this. Your mind is a garden. The words you use are seeds. Plant, I'm not good enough, and that's what will grow. Plant, I am unstoppable, and watch what happens. It's not magic, it's neurology. Repetition rewires the brain. The stories you tell yourself become the pathways your thoughts travel. So start small. Pick one thing, just one, that you want to embody. Not someday, now, then for the next week. Speak as if it's already true. If you catch yourself saying, I'm trying, correct it out loud. No, I am. It will feel awkward at first. That's how you know it's working. Discomfort is the signal that the old pattern is breaking. This isn't about affirmations, it's about identity. The moment you stop seeing confidence or discipline or courage as something you get and start seeing it as something you are, everything changes. Your posture shifts, your decisions shift. People respond to you differently because you're not acting like someone who's waiting to become. You're acting like someone who already is. Try it right now, whatever version of yourself you want to be. Stop calling it the future, call it the present. Then watch how reality catches up. The invisible enemy, the things that hold you back, aren't what you think they are. It's not the lack of time, it's not the people who doubt you, it's not even your own fear. The real enemy is invisible. It's the patterns you don't see, the tiny, daily habits that seem harmless but are quietly steering you off course. Most people never notice them. They blame outside forces for their lack of progress while ignoring the real culprit, their own autopilot. The way they check their phone first thing in the morning, derailing their focus before the day even starts. The way they say yes to things they don't care about, draining their energy in small increments. The way they procrastinate, not out of laziness, but because they've trained their brain to avoid discomfort. These aren't mistakes, they're systems, and unless you dismantle them, they'll keep running in the background, sabotaging you without you ever realizing it. Here's how you fight back. Every night, ask yourself one question. What's one habit I didn't notice today that's holding me back? Then sit with it. Don't rush. The first answer is usually the right one. Maybe it's the way you scroll when you're bored instead of thinking. Maybe it's the way you interrupt your own deep work with just one quick check of your email. Maybe it's the stories you tell yourself about why you can't do something. Stories you've repeated so often you don't even hear them anymore. The key is to catch what's invisible. The habits so ingrained, they feel like part of you. The ones you'd never think to question because they've always been there. Those are the ones doing the most damage. Once you spot one, don't judge it. Don't make it a big deal. Just notice. Awareness is the first key. The moment you see a pattern clearly, it loses power over you. Then the next day, disrupt it. If you always reach for your phone when you wake up, leave it in another room. If you always say, I'm too tired to work out, go for 5 minutes anyway. Small interruptions create cracks in the system, and cracks are where the light gets in. Do this every night, not as a chore, but as a hunt. The invisible enemy can't hide once you start looking for it. And when you find it, you don't have to fight it, you just have to see it. That's enough. The rest takes care of itself. These aren't tips, they're mental resets, and once you use them, something changes. You stop asking for permission to think clearly, act boldly, or walk away from what doesn't serve you, because now you're not just smarter, you're dangerous. In the best way. You don't need a new app, course, or guru. Everything here costs $0. The only question is, which one will you try first? Pick one, master it, then come back and take another. This is how you upgrade your mind. Not in a day, but for life.